shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Happy Sunday fun day, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Jo over here on a SportsGrid TV on X. Now, I'd love to say we had a loaded slate here on this Sunday, but after having so many games yesterday, we will only see two teams hit the ice, one game out there, but don't worry, tomorrow we will have another full slate out there on the ice. So jumping into today's matchup, we'll look at all the odds over here on FanDuel. I also want to look at some of these divisional winners as well. We'll start breaking that down as we get deeper into the season here, but we'll have a quick glance at that. But first, let's get to the game of the night, the one that we all want to look at. The Utah Hockey Club are facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, this is their first time matching up. We know Utah was the Arizona Coyotes in the past, moving to Utah for this season. We got the Utah Hockey Club on FanDuel plus 150 here. Toronto at minus 182. We are seeing movement in this line. Utah is becoming a bigger dog in this matchup. Total 5.5. Now, this is low. Plus 104 to the under with Utah expecting to debut a goaltender that they did get. Jackson Saber from the Chicago Blackhawks from last season. Now he's being called back up from the minors. So he's making his NHL debut for Utah. He has played 6 games last season for Chicago. So I do think he had strong numbers versus or out there last season for Chicago. He had a 2.80 goals against average and a 911 save percentage. So I'm looking for this one to stay under that total of 5.5. Now we are losing value on the under 5.5. It's plus 104. This was closer to plus 115 earlier in the day. Joseph Woll expected here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know he's been standing on his head for this team, and Toronto wants to lock down and play that defensive style of hockey. This is where this team is moving to instead of being the high-scoring team that they were. Well, and they still can get those goals, but I just don't think that is going to be this team going forward. When we look, though, here at Toronto, they've been able to convert on the power play as of late. They've been playing strong hockey. They won their last 3 games in a row and 6 of their last 7. Now, Toronto's so highly juiced on that money line, and it's a hard position to get into. Looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs here, especially when we look at past records versus the Arizona Coyotes, because Utah was the Arizona Coyotes, you guys. So you got to look at that. I don't care if you change location. What's that saying? You can't take the girl out of the country out of the girl. Same sort of thing here with Utah. You're not going to take the Arizona Coyotes mindset mentality out of this team because it's not a brand new team. I'm looking here at Utah. They lost the last 2. We did see Toronto get the last 2 wins, but the prior 4 was the Arizona Coyotes who were able to get the win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. They also hold a record of 14-8 versus this team. So I do think that comes into play tonight. One thing here with Utah is they haven't been able to kill those penalties very well, you guys. So with Utah not killing those penalties, 76% overall on the season. Now, when we look at their last 5, 6, 7 games, we're looking at closer to 70% kill only. And when we look at Toronto, we've seen that step up. Now, their power play conversion started off rough to start the season. We've seen that power play conversion really step up. Overall on the season, 20%. But when we look at their winning streak over these last 7 games, we have seen that conversion rate closer to just over 30% of the time. So I do think the power play comes into play today, even though I'm liking the under 5.5. I do think Utah, even though they're on the second night of a back-to-back, can lock down on the defensive side of things here. Their goaltender can do enough coming out here for his first time for Utah. I think he stands on his head. Now, Toronto still without Austin Matthews. We know that, and this team has rallied without Austin Matthews on the ice. Mitch Knives, though, now out as well for this game. So when we're looking at who I do think is going to come out strong for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner coming out here. His power play point is coming in at plus 178. Definitely worth a shot tonight. We talked about the kill here being weak as of late, especially as of late for Utah, and the power play really clicking for the Leafs lately. I think their goals come via power play. So Mitch Marner for the power play point at plus 178, 7 power play points over the last 7 games. When we look at William Nylander, I would look at him for the anytime goal or the power play point tonight. His anytime goal coming in at plus 130, the power play point at plus 215. Like I said, with how this team is converting on the power play, I like those power play points tonight. He has 8 goals and 6 assists in the last 11 games. So when we look at those power play points, he's got 4 power play goals and 4 power play points. So 8 power play points over the last 11 games. So William Nylander really has been stepping up for Toronto. When we look here at the Utah Hockey Club, Dylan Guenther, I think, has value for the anytime goal. He's coming in at plus 290, and Clayton Keller for the anytime goal at plus 240. Again, don't look at the power play points here. You'd have to look at the points for these players over the power play points. You're not going to get any value on either of them. I do look at the back-to-back, and it is hard for a team to play strong hockey on the second night of a back-to-back. But when we saw Utah as the Arizona Coyotes, it wasn't a huge positive. They went 5-4 last season on the second night of a back-to-back, or overall they went 5-4 on the second night of back-to-back. I do think we can see that transfer here. Again, Toronto is always overpriced, and I think you are, even though this team is 12-6-2 rolling hot, you are getting a Utah team that has the opportunity of pulling off the win, and at plus 150-ish, I think it's worth a shot. Now you could live bet this one if Toronto does go up first for Utah. Utah never stops fighting in these games. You can then look at them plus the 1.5 on the puck line because you're getting no value as of now on that puck line for Utah. But I do think this is a tight battle here. Hard defensive fought out battle between these two goaltenders. We also look at how much of a struggle this schedule is for the Leafs. They've won their last 3 and 6 of their last 7. Yes, they've been absolutely phenomenal. They got the win versus the Vegas Golden Knights on Wednesday, so they're rested. It's now Sunday. They haven't played since Wednesday. 3-0 shutout win over Vegas. Really impressive, but we know Vegas on the road isn't a team we want to bet on. Yeah, they pulled off some wins versus like the Ducks and the Sharks. They pulled off these wins, but still, Vegas on the road is a fade for me. But we look ahead to Toronto and who they face next. They're at the Panthers on Thursday, the Lightning on Saturday. This is a Sunday game in the middle of, a long rest other than this one. So it's the Wednesday game versus Vegas. Then they're resting till today, which is Sunday. And then they don't play again till Thursday versus the Panthers. And that's on the road, and versus the Lightning. I just don't think they really bring everything they got today. I think defensive, low scoring with the opportunity of Utah winning. So give me the dog here. Give me the Utah Hockey Club on that money line, the Utah Hockey Club on the money line coming in at plus 150. So this is the recap, you guys, because we've only got this one game. Brady, thank you for joining me here. He's expected to play. The Leafs might light him up. Yeah, it's going to go one way or the other. Either the Leafs are going to light him up, or he's going to stand on his head. Last season when he was with Chicago, 6 games, he was able to play. He did record 1 shutout. Jace, welcome to the show. He did record 1 shutout and had some really solid opportunities. You look at these NHL goalies coming back up and down from the minors that you haven't seen a lot. And it's harder for these teams to be able to hit them. They don't really know their weaknesses that much. Not that much film out there on him. And yes, they would have looked at his minor film, but I do think he can do enough in this game. Low scoring defensive battle in a game where I don't think Toronto cares to show up today. And I don't say that in, they've just been rolling hot. Their schedule's been hard. This is when we saw the Florida Panthers lose to the Chicago Blackhawks, same sort of situation. They're coming in facing a team that they should beat. Toronto is famous for letting go those games they should win. So recap of the show, 9 minutes and 25 seconds. How did we get so deep into the show? I'm going to take the Utah Hockey Club plus 152 on the money line. I'm also going to take the under 5.5 at plus 104. This is going to be all on this goaltender coming up. If he struggles out there, Toronto is winning this. It's going over the total. Toronto's covering the puck line. I just don't see it playing out that way. I like Mitch Marner, though, for the power play point at plus 178 and William Nylander for the power play point at plus 215. They could get that together. Dylan Guenther for the anytime goal for Utah plus 290 and Clayton Keller at plus 240. So that is the recap, you guys. I want to quickly update you guys on some of these division odds and where everything is standing. So when we look at the Metropolitan Division, the Carolina Hurricanes still sitting as the favorite to win the Metro. They're coming in at plus 120. Now, interesting look here at the two teams sitting right below them. The New Jersey Devils at plus 240. We know this team was just able to beat Carolina. I think their defense needs to step up a little bit more. We're seeing the Carolina Hurricanes so strong defensively, really able to lock down their opponents. One thing the New Jersey Devils aren't doing strong enough for me right now is locking down their opponents. Jacob Markstrom, now their goaltender, we need that step up. So they're coming in at plus 240. Can they step up as we go deeper into the season? They absolutely have the chance. So plus 240, I think the Devils are worth the look. And right behind them at plus 290, the New York Rangers with Igor Shesterkin in goal. With all of the elements of this team, I think they have every ability to come out in the Metro at the top of the Metro. They've had some tough losses as of late. We saw them lose to the Calgary Flames. We need Igor to get right into form. We need this defense to give them the support, and offensively for playmakers like Panarin to get on that board. So I do think the Rangers are worth a look. We have the Washington Capitals at plus 1,000. We know Ovi is out of this lineup. The New York Islanders are plus 3,400. And the Islanders, their struggles really have been in goal defensively enough. There's struggles on all sides of the puck. I'm just not trusting them. The Pittsburgh Penguins, we know offensively have been strong, except Utah just beat them 6-1. Defense is absolutely falling flat on their face. And then you have the Flyers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. When we look at the Atlantic, of course, it is the Florida Panthers who are up as the favorite in this division. A lot of people expecting it to be the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Again, this upcoming Stanley Cup Finals. If you like the Florida Panthers to take the Atlantic, they're plus 185. The Toronto Maple Leafs, we know they always fizzle out once the playoffs comes, but they're normally strong in the regular season. They are the favorite with Florida. Both of these teams at plus 185. And then you have the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Boston Bruins, who with the coaching changes and everything that's happening, Boston looking to get back into form. The Buffalo Sabres, I do think make the playoffs, but I don't think they will take the Atlantic. Too big of dogs here. Lots of hope was coming in on the Ottawa Senators this season with the changes in goal and the additions they made. They're still sitting third to last to take that Atlantic Division, followed by the Red Wings and the Montreal Canadiens. The Pacific is really a coin flip here, you guys. We've seen Edmonton lose some games that they really should have won. They've had some struggles over the opening part of the season. They are a second favorite to take the Pacific, even though they are the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, which is so interesting to see. They're plus 200 in the Pacific. The Calgary Flames have been really overachieving expectations. They're coming in as the fifth favorite in the Pacific at plus 1,900. I think this team will struggle when we get down the stretch, but they have been led by elite goaltending here with Dustin Wolf, who's not their starter. He's won, 7 of their last 8 home games. Dustin Wolf has been able to capture that win. Vegas is still sitting top to win the Pacific at plus 170. The Winnipeg Jets, top to win the Central. We know how hot this team has been at plus 175. The St. Louis Blues, your longest shot to win that Central Division at plus 15,000. Below the Chicago Blackhawks, which I'm actually surprised for. Actually, they're tied at plus 15,000. They're over on FanDuel. This Utah Hockey Club that's in action today. I love the additions they've made on this team offensively and defensively. We'll see how they do in net over the next stretch of the season, but they're plus 6,500. They're not going to take the Central, but definitely a team to continue to watch. Okay, so those are your divisions. That's where we're looking with some of those odds. Again, I don't know what is wrong with Mika. It's really, there's so many players where you're like, what is wrong with them? What is going on? I don't know. Again, one final recap. Give me the Utah Hockey Club at plus 152. Give me the under 5.5 at plus 104. I think Toronto is on vacation mode. Toronto always loses these games that they can't win, right? Yeah, let's try to work out what's wrong with Mika Zibanejad. I don't know. He just hasn't showed up this season. Anyway, I think Utah wins it. I think you look at the power play points here, though, for Toronto. Mitch Marner and William Nylander power play points. Clayton Keller, Dylan Guenther there for the Utah Hockey Club. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. I am live all afternoon on the grid, 4:20 Eastern to 8 p.m. All the afternoon games, live betting with Scott Wetzel and Adam Kaufman. And then my Madden Quickies up on the SportsGrid app. Yesterday, the Madden Quickie went 2-1. Ohio State covered. I had Indiana plus 11.5. That is the one we lost. We had Florida plus 11.5. I wish I had them straight up. They're able to get that win in the swamp. They didn't even need those points. And then the last one, Minnesota, we had plus the points. So hopefully you guys cashed on yesterday's college football Madden Quickie. Today's NFL Madden Quickie is up 4 games. I got a big underdog for you guys that I'm loving there as well. My Cup of Joe will be out in the next couple of minutes here. All the best in all of your bets as well. You guys, so stay tuned for the Cup of Joe. I'll go over all of these 1 p.m. slate games right away. So stay tuned for that. You guys, we'll see you soon. Thank you again. And all the best in all of your bets today. Let's make some freaking money. Enjoy the 1 game on the ice and the loaded slate we have out there in football. It's going to be a fun one, you guys. See you on the grid.